All right. Chapter 10. Chapter 10. The myth of certainty. One of the biggest myths, traps, one of the biggest traps in trading is the illusion of certainty. If I wait for the perfect setup, if I get one more confirmation, if I do more back testing, then I'll know it's going to work. Does this sound familiar to anybody? This sounds familiar to me. Golden strategy, man. I spent years studying the golden strategies out there, building the golden strategies. And what I realized is that most of the strategies that I found work. I was just in my own way. I couldn't execute them emotionally correctly. Here's the truth Jared Tendler drives home. Certainty in trading doesn't exist. It's an uncertain game. Okay, if you're not willing to lose half the time, it's probably a problem. I used to close higher. I used to have like a 70 to 80% win rate. And the more that I am a 50-50 trader, the more money I make. Go figure. I think it's because I was so obsessed with being right that I would rather take more trades with a less R&R that was less profitable, because I was willing to not, like, I would move my stop, break even, a little bit in profit, and it made my win rate look great, but my profitability is so much better that I'm a better loser. Okay. All right. You can have a great setup, a solid strategy, the perfect market conditions, and you still take a loss. So what? Learn to take that in. Learn to be like, who cares? Half the time I'm going to lose. But if you have a 1-2, 1-3 ish, somewhere in there, even once in a while 1-4, you're going to end up being very profitable over time. All right. Trying to be sure before you act leads to hesitation, missed trades, overanalysis, paralysis by analysis, endless tweaking of your strategy. Does that speak to anybody? I spent probably 3 or 4 years tweaking my strategy or looking for a new one, or this one doesn't work anymore, so I'm going to find that one. Well, what about this indicator? What about that? I'm going to take signals over here. I'm going to call this guru. Seriously. And it was not until I found actual gurus that were for real and they were able to lead me in the right direction, which caused me to put up a mirror to my face first. Deal with me as a trader. And then I was able to take, I feel like I could take any strategy now and become profitable with it. Obviously, it takes time to get to know the strategy and build an intuition into it. And I'm not like saying I'm that good that I can just take any strategy in the world and make it great. Like, watch me. Wow, that's a big ego pet right there. But what I mean is if I joined Tory Trades' community and spent time in there and learned and practiced with trend lines, and I feel like I could be profitable with trend lines, right? If I went into Market Cipher, and I feel like Market Cipher has a little bit too much data for my brain. It's not simple enough, and I get lost in the data. But if I went in there and practiced and traded divergences and time-based liquidity, and I feel like I'd be good to go, right? And if I were to, anything like that, right? I personally trade a form of ICT. I probably use like 5 to 10% of the ICT out there, and I'm successful with that. So I took a little bit of what I saw and I apply it, and it works. So endless tweaking of your strategy, I think, is where a lot of people are stuck. I could send you a 10-minute video and go, here's my strategy. It works. I make money with it. And most people are going to struggle with it. And it's because of the things that we're going through in this book that he talks about. Okay. All right. Traders who thrive aren't the ones with perfect setups. They are the ones who have trained themselves to act despite uncertainty. This is so true. I have a friend that told me the other day, he's like, dude, I could go on a 2 or 3 week losing streak and I'd be all right. And I'm like, wow, that speaks volumes to me. I think I would struggle pretty hard if I went on that long of a win or loss streak. Even now, and I've been there, and I did struggle, and it took me a little while to get myself back into the mental mind frame. to become profitable again. And what I ended up finding out is that the loss streak lasted weeks longer than it should have because I wasn't a good loser. So therefore, I lost twice as long as I would have if I had just played out my strategy. So this chapter challenges you to shift your mindset. Stop seeking certainty. Start trusting your process. If you guys haven't noticed something that is like just in every single video, it's trust your process. Stop looking for comfort. Stop looking at your P&L. Stop identifying a green day and a bad day as if you're a good trader or a bad trader. It is simply trusting your actual process. Okay? Change your mindset. An L inside of your process is a W. Okay? It's a win. So let's talk about some key takeaways. The market is uncertain by nature. There are no guarantees, only probabilities. All right? The quest for certainty causes more damage than losses themselves. I'm telling you, I've been there. I've had 3 indicators on my chart. I've had exo charts with PTO candles, CVD divergences, and I've had all of this stuff lined up, and I'm trying to line up all of these confirmations so that way I can be certain for this trade. Never worked. Never worked. All right. Waiting to be sure is often a mask of fear of losing, being wrong. Oh, I wonder if that's me. Or looking stupid. All right. Messing with my ego again, which is there, and I recognize it's there. Confidence should come from your preparation, not the outcome. So, confidence should come from the fact that you have a strategy you believe in, you have an edge, you've practiced executing that edge in an uncomfortable environment, and in being okay with it working out or not. Right? And then the outcome itself of the P&L will just be there in the long run. You don't even have to focus on that anymore. All right. And that's one thing I'm working on because I love to pull up my chart, look at my P&L. I'm actually eligible for a payout right now. And maybe after making this video, I'll open it up and look at it and smile and be like, yeah, look at that. I get me. Am I petting my ego? What am I focused on? Okay. It's hard. Trust me. I understand the greed. I completely understand the ego, and I understand the fear of being wrong. Like all the not all this stuff, but most of this stuff I completely resonate with. All right. So you're not alone. You're human. And guess what? Humans can be trained. Look at these Navy SEALs, man. I want to be a Navy SEAL of the market, baby. I want to kick down some doors and blow up some NQ terrorists and make some good trades, and even in uncertainty and uncomfortability, I follow my process to a T. That's what I want to become. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm doing pretty good, and I'm just gonna give a little pet to the ego, not too much. The other day I had a really bad day. It was bad. I almost went on tilt. I had to save myself. All right, there's the balance. No ego. All right, so let's talk about some action steps. Track certainty seeking behaviors. Okay, where do you hesitate, tweak, avoid trading because you're not sure enough? Okay, do you overanalyze entries? I used to, guys. Now I'm like, that looks good enough. Boop, take me along. Okay, I allow myself a lot of freedom in my strategy, but it is not all feel or intuition. It is time-based liquidity with live printing price action. That's how I trade. All right, wait for an extra indicator confirmations. Do you skip setups you've tested because they don't feel right? Call it out and name it, okay? Figure it out. I'm telling you, it's worth it. So worth it. All right, reframe your edge. Instead of looking for a perfect trade, remind yourself my edge plays out over time, not trade by trade, okay? Don't take a trade and be like, oh, my edge just doesn't work. Like I gotta tweak this somehow. I couldn't believe I took a loss. What? Dude, Anyway, I laugh because I see myself in all this 100%. All right. Don't need to be right. I need to be consistent. I don't need to be right. I need to be consistent. I'm going to say it one more time. I don't need to be right. I need to be consistent. All right. That was for me, not for you. Uncertainty is a part of trading. I've trained for this. That's a good one. I like that. Post one of these mantras at your desk. I'm going to get me some tattoos all down my arm. I'll be like all stressed out trading, like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I got my tats. I'm just kidding. But I'm not. All right. Practice action in uncertainty. This one is great. This one took some serious training. Create a low risk reps of acting with incomplete info. Enter small trades, but valid but imperfect setups. Not every setup's going to be perfect. You can't put 11 confirmations on something just to go, that's going to be a W no matter what. I don't care what these indicators say. Well, I care what the indicators say, and all 11 of them say long, so I'm going long. All right, and then you get swept out short. Like, ooh. Okay, it happens, 100%. All right, but practice in incomplete, imperfect setups, but solid, right? Time-based liquidity with bullish price action, with a clear, you know, channel all the way up to the next liquidity with the proper R&R, right? I mean, you're not just randomly picking trades like, oh, it looks like it's going bearish, short. No, you have an edge, but it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have unicorn and this and that doing this, and your daily bias is on point. You don't have to have everything on point. Okay. All right, sim trade with limited confirmations. So you can simulate trades too, for sure, for practice. I recommend a cheap combined, and just go in super low risk, like 1 micro, and you should have lots and lots and lots and lots of practice for $50, right? That's the way I look at it. And if you start sizing up to like $5, $6, $7, $800 of risk, and you have $3,000 of drawdown, you're not going to get a lot of practice. Okay, but make sure when you do 1 micro that you put your stop loss where it belongs. You don't shorten your stop loss to shorten your risk. Does that make sense? Okay, you got to have an edge. It's got to be defined. Okay, take setups when your edge is present, even when your emotions resist. It just takes practice and repetition. The goal is to desensitize your brain to acting without 100% clarity. That's hard for us golden strategy seekers. Okay, I used to be one. I used to be a seeker. I would seek these strategies. They don't exist. Okay, I could probably point you in the direction of 5 different strategies that'll work if you can operate like this book is teaching us, right? Like Tom Hogarth talks about. I can show you an EMA strategy that works. I can show you trend lines from Tory Trades that works. I can show you Jason Casper trading Bitcoin like a baller. I can show you Casper SMC who trades NQ like a ball. I can show it to you. Okay? 100%. I can send you a video and be like, "Here, do this. You'll be profitable." Bojan, White Phoenix. These are people I know that I've watched be successful for years. Okay? The list goes on. The list goes on. Okay, it's not the strategy. It's us not following the strategy or allowing ourselves, all this stuff we're talking about, all these things that get in the way. Okay, so confidence logs. At the end of each session, journal. Did I act despite uncertainty? Did I follow my process even though I felt unsure? What was the result? You're building confidence in execution, not prediction. Okay, I used to want to be able to predict where the market went. And you know what? If you give me a superpower and I'm like, I'll take the superpower of prediction, and it was actually accurate, I'll take it. Okay, but that's not real. That's not real. Okay, I don't think there's enough education out there that can make you a profitable predictor. I could be wrong, man. I might get blasted on that one. Okay, but that's just what I feel. I've been in this a long time, and those that are extreme, I'm successful, okay, but those that are extremely successful, they don't predict, they react from their edge with controlled emotions. Okay. All right, encouragement. Here's the truth. You don't need certainty, you need courage. Ooh, I like that. I like that one. It's another tattoo. It's gonna be expensive. I'm gonna be at the tat office or the tat office. Like I'm a white collared tat, person. Like I gotta get a tattoo at the, you know, the high rise office. I can't just go to some downtown, black light glowing tattoo parlor. I gotta go to the office. So you don't need certainty, you need courage. You don't need to know. You need to act on what you know works. Okay. This takes time, guys. And this takes time with the strategy. The reason why Tory trades can trade trend lines and do well, and then someone else does trend lines and gets obliterated with the same strategy is because she believes in her strategy. And she's worked with herself on a professional level and training her emotions on how to react, right? And it just repetition of practicing her edge over and over. Every professional trader knows losses happen, fails, false signals exist, and market conditions shift. One tweet. Okay. Well, I want to say one thing about news. News still plays out the technicals, just usually extremely quick, but it still sweeps liquidity. I've literally, all right, I took an FMOC trade. It like went way down and like swept a time-based liquidity, and I looked at it and I just went long, and it just like whoop, like the next candle, just like way up, and it actually hit the opposing time-based liquidity. I took partial profit, moved my stop, and then that sucker went through the roof even more, and I'm like, wow. And it was a quick reaction, and usually I don't recommend trading like that, but it was because it just beautifully swept that time-based liquidity and just started like bullish printing order flow, and I just went in. The R&R was there. It was my trade. It was either react in this 3 to 5 seconds or don't. And I just happened to hit buy. Worked out great. Okay. So news plays out just usually much quicker and much more volatile, and there's a lot of bouncing around sometimes. So be careful of red folder news. But I pretty much only trade days that have red folder news ish, and I'm more cautious on days that don't have because I want a lot of liquidity because I do trade actual liquidity. So on a low volume day when there's no red folder, yeah, I mean, I'm going to trade, but I'm going to be way more careful, right? Okay. All right. Um, but those who show up with trust in their edge, those who execute without needing perfection, those are the traders who win over time. Stop chasing certainty. It's not the goal. Clarity, courage, and consistency are. You've trained, you've tested, now it's time to trust and trade, okay? When you get to this point, this is where it starts to really feel real and feel good. Okay? You've trained, you've tested, and now it's time to trust and trade. And this is where, I mean, whatever, pick on me if you want. Get a combine, it's $50 a month. Give yourself one reset, just one. So $100 a month, right? Top step, 50K. And just practice. Lowest risk as you can, but with your stop losses in the right place, you'll get lots of practice. You'll get lots of practice and potentially start making some money as you grow as a trader. I hope this has been encouraged for you. We do have some links below, free Discord. There's no affiliates at this point or anything like that. I'm not trying to get money. I just enjoy talking with traders about this kind of stuff because it helps me, it encourages me, and I grow from teaching. So there's my selfish motivation for doing all this. Share this out with somebody that you think will help, that'll help them, and go get this book. This man knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. I'll see you guys in the next video.